Welcome to This Must Be Heard, a recurring podcast featuring discussions of Delaware County community colleges, events, achievements, and initiatives. In this special episode, recent graduate and former New Media Lab co-executive producer Tashea White speaks with Ryan Jaffe and Ruth Morganto from the DCCC Career and Counseling Center about career paths for communication majors. Enjoy the show!
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us for another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the journey of comm majors and the possible career options for us. Thank you so much, Ruth and Ryan, for joining us for this conversation today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, we're going to jump right in. Ryan, why don't you start by defining communication as a major and career?
I think that's such an important starting space, right? Before students at DCCC can really start to think about career pathway, we have to really understand, what does it mean to be a communication major, period, right? So when Ruth and I were planning for this conversation today, we started to look up information about communication majors, and that led us to the National Communication Association. And they define communication that at its absolute foundation, communication will use messages that individuals create and then apply meaning to those messages within and across various contexts. And so the discipline as a whole will study all forms, all modes, all types of media, as well as all consequences that communication might occur in our society and how it influences that society. So that's what it is at its core. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you're going to learn how to effectively communicate with other people and what the impact of communication has on our society. But I think what's really cool about communication as a major is this customization that you get to have with the career and with the major. And you have an opportunity as a student to pull together courses that you have really a strong interest in and be able to then translate that out for a career pathway.
Because almost every university has a communication major of some kind. But they have very different flavors. They might have very different leanings. And so there might be one that's so perfect for you that you should go there and get specialized in a specific area. Now, often people get concerned that the salaries aren't as high as they would be for electrical engineers, but they are very desirable set of skills, and everything requires communication. There is no job out there that you don't need to communicate in some way with other people.
Definitely. I think it's time to stop saying, like, what can I do with a communication degree, and start reframing it to say, what can't I do with a communications degree?
I love that. I love
that.
Yes. And I will say that is what actually drew me to communication as a major. Okay. So let's move on to talking about some of the career opportunities and possibilities for comm majors.
Excellent. So if you're watching along in YouTube, you're going to see on your screen here that there's pathways for comm students, and we have a little QR code there for you. If you're just listening along, just know that the QR code, you can find this information on the National Communication Association website. It's a grad spotlight. So what they did was they looked at different professionals in the field who are out there working that have a communications undergrad or graduate degree. And then they've tracked them to say, like, what are you doing? Give us a little bit of a bio. And some of them are like big wigs, right? Like they're CEOs, they're actors, it's name recognition when you get onto this and you see some folks. And then from there, what Ruth and I did was we looked at like who these people were and what they did. And we looked at some four-year institutions, and we said, okay, NCA has shown us some concentrations that are possible for comm students, right? Like at a four-year institution. So if you're currently at DCCC now, start thinking about these areas of concentration, because where do you want to go? Do you see yourself in mass communication? Do you see yourself yourself in interpersonal communication, like small group, one-on-one. Digital communication is what all of the rage right now, right? So as we shared earlier, colleges and programs are going to have very unique and specified tracks and concentrations as well.
So as you get into your universities, you could be choosing minors and double majors that would highlight skills and interests that you might have. If you're leaning towards that you want to work in a business setting, doing a minor or a double major in business or in marketing could be particularly beneficial. Some people will choose to get a minor or a double major in languages. Or English. Data analytics is another one that if you have a particular aptitude for that, that is the hottest skill set out there. Having skills, having any kind of a credential in data analytics, because data analytics is everywhere in all things, much like communication.
So yeah, you guys gave a lot of information. I know that was a lot of information, but I think it's important information, especially where we are as DCCC students, because like you kind of said, and this is how I kind of think of us too, we're like baby Comm students.
It's a great way to describe it.
So you want to start thinking about these things right now while you have the opportunity and you have the flexibility and the resources. Some of the experiences I've had that have actually helped me as a comm major have been the experiences that I've had outside of the classroom, particularly in extracurriculars. So, for example, I'm part of the New Media Lab, which creates podcasts for the college. Can you guys kind of talk about what extracurriculars you recommend? Do you have any particular that you think can be of great benefit to comm majors?
This is such an important question, and it's so great because the theoretical piece, like the thing that we're learning in our lectures, it's so important, right? You have to understand the discipline, but your training comes from your real life experiences, which is what you get from those extracurriculars. So they're equally important than what you're also learning in the classroom. And so thank you for sharing that you're part of the New Media Lab, because that is an organization on this college campus at DCCC that allows students to apply those skill sets that they're maybe learning in their other classes within the communication major and beyond. It also is one of the organizations that students could utilize. Maybe it's not their thing, but they prefer to be writing for the Communitarian instead, or for our literary magazine, Pegasus. And so those are some organizations that DCCC offers. We also have clubs. Clubs could be out of sheer interest or be related to your major. But if you're holding an officer position, or if you're intricately involved, maybe you're doing the social media for that club, you have an opportunity to apply those skill sets that you're learning in your communication classes. If you're following on YouTube, you're going to see the QR code on your screen now that would link you to all of the clubs and organizations that DCCC offers. So go ahead and, snap that pic. Or you can just go to like the athletics and campus engagement website at DCCC and look at the list that we offer. In addition to clubs and organizations on campus, you can consider them off campus too, right, friends? It doesn't just have to be at DCCC. And so in addition to your clubs, your organizations, consider volunteer work. But in any one of those three circumstances, right, what are you getting from that? You're getting the application of your skill set, which is invaluable. Right? I mean, and I'm sure you can speak to that too with the work that you've been doing in New Media Lab.
Absolutely.
The kind of skill set that you've built from the beginning until now.
Yeah, I know I'm definitely going to be taking everything I learned to my career when I establish a career.
You have to, right? Like that's something that not only would you put on your resume, but you could speak to that in the interview as well.
Yes.
And so it's invaluable in terms of like what you could do if you have some real life experience.
As far as skills, it's something that's really important as you are freelancing, as you are building that experience, is to put it somewhere where you can highlight it. So you need to maintain a portfolio of your work. You can credit yourself when you're doing these side hustles. That is still relevant experience that you can highlight on your resume, that you could have as a portfolio in your LinkedIn. that you can show off what you have and what you're doing. We also say it's very important to be finding mentors and meeting with advisors. Your faculty here, they are doing it because they love the work and they love the students. And you should be connecting with them and using them as the resources that they are. We also mentioned meeting with your advisors, whether it be a faculty advisor or an advisor from the Career and Counseling Center. It is so helpful to make use of those relationships and their experience, and always networking. Always looking for the people who have the skills, who might be connected to someone else also. I'm a huge believer in LinkedIn and building your network, connecting with people. It is not a bad idea to start your LinkedIn early, but then connect with people as you meet them to say, hey, could I connect with you on LinkedIn? Are you on LinkedIn? And you can build those connections so that you have a broader network of people in different areas so that later on you'll have them should you need them.
Yeah, I was going to say networking is one of those words you hear a lot about, and we don't always know how to go about it, how to even start. So I'm glad that you gave that information, especially for us as comm students. Our, greatest tool, right, is communication there. So like you just said, that would be our way to start networking, asking questions, learning where we can.
And also reach out to us. All of us love to reach out and talk to students. So let us help you.
I will say everybody at DCCC is so very helpful. And I know one of the scariest parts about being a student is knowing when to reach out, who to reach out to. It's scary to try to extend yourself for the first time. If you see something that interests you, even if you're scared, you don't know if you could do it. If you think you have the time, just do it. Just jump right in, try it.
And on all of what we've talked about is building to jobs. What are the jobs in communications, right? And what can you do if you study communication as a major? So we created a little word cloud for our comm students at DCCC. If you're looking at YouTube, you can see the word cloud, but I'm going to share some out loud for us. For example, a podcast host, right? So here we are, right? We've got a podcast host with us right now. However, you could consider things like a TV announcer, a politician, right? Photography, journalists, copywriter, technical writer. You might even get into the business realm. Maybe you get into human resources or a marketing specialist. You could consider something like, again, here's a career that didn't exist a couple years ago, social media manager, right? Influencer. These are things that did not exist before, but the major of communication has forged, right?
Right. It's evolved so much. Yeah.
Correct.
And I will say, we always say as career counselors that we are preparing you for careers that don't exist yet. Communication is premier for that because there's so much flexibility in the major and you're thinking on your feet and you're ready to pivot and change. You are the people who are ready for when preparation meets opportunity. You're prepared. And then when the opportunity strikes, you will have a broad range of skills to move into those new and developing careers.
And you don't necessarily have to go back to get a whole new degree either, right? Which is what's really cool about a communication major. So, think about that as you're forging forward. It's okay if you need to pivot later on or your career plans change because you're building a really solid degree education for yourself that allows you to pivot pretty easily.
And that's so cool because that's something I didn't really think of deeply, but you're making me think about that now that I can always build on it and branch off.
No, and career management is so important. As students, it's important for you to manage your career and take care of that, which really leads us, I think, to our final topic, right? Which is
yes. Definitely, because we've talked so much about all the different possibilities, but now we got to kind of figure out how do we get there.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you guys have any tips or advice on how to get our first job?
Of course we do.
Yes. I was going to say yes. And we are big proponents of starting early. You've heard me talk about LinkedIn. even if it isn't gorgeous and, fabulous, start with something, build something and get it going, because then you can draw on it. You can add projects as you are also building your connections. You will want to have a nice resume, and our student employment services will do that with you. They will sit there, and it's a waste of your time here if you do not make use of them to have them create a resume with you. You can just
not agree with you
stick it in a file. You don't have to use it right away, but you should always have one and update them just periodically, even if it's only once a year. Look at it and see, are there any projects that I did this year that would be really interesting that I want to add? And then you are also going to be creating some unique cover letters. I want to know, I can read your resume, I can see what you've got out there, but I want to know, why are you applying to this job and why now? I also want to mention, because I don't say it enough, you need to apply even if you think you're not qualified.
The other thing we want to make sure that you all know as DCCC students, and Ruth talked about this, are the services that we can provide for you. Your tuition dollars pay for this. So this is a prepaid service, so use career and counseling services. If you feel like you need some help with communication as a major and what can you do with that degree, come talk to a career counselor. We can help you with that. If you need help with building that resume, building a cover letter, practicing interviewing techniques or practicing networking, Student Employment and Co-op is that service at the college that you can utilize. And then consider attending career fairs. Career fairs it's like speed dating for career finding, right? But yeah, at a career fair, there's going to be lots and lots of employers. They're actively looking to hire. So go dressed to impress, bring a copy of your resume, which is why you want to have them ready in advance. If you have business cards, bring them. If you have a LinkedIn, make sure you know your tags so that they can find you. And then go to them. Now, DCCC offers career fairs, so keep an eye out for your student email because they do advertise them. But that would be another good way to land your first job as an opportunity, because there's lots of different employers available.
And I also want to note, student employment will work with alumni also. So if you have already graduated, you can still reach out to them and they will help you later also.
With all the services that I just talked about.
Exactly.
We also have a job board at the college. So Handshake is the job board that we use. You can look on Handshake for job opportunities in our community.
I just started using both of those. I work with Jennifer Arazi.
Shout out
and Douglas Fergus at helped me so much with
definitely
cover letter and resume. That's one of those things you're like, what am I doing? It's so
Everybody
cool to have somebody
help.
else look it over and go, okay, yeah, this is a good start. What we can do is this, and then you work together, and then they really help so much.
And they will also do it remotely. If you can't get to main campus, that you can send it back and forth. They will.
That's what I did.
Remotely too.
Yep.
The purpose of doing these things is to do them in advance so that you're not in a crush when you're going out to look for jobs. You don't have to create the wheel.
You taught me so much. There's so much information I didn't know that you just gave me.
Thank you.
Even particularly in this last part that I'm going to, share with the people in my life as well. And so I know that this is going to help a lot of comm majors. I think even just DCCC students in general. But thank you guys so much for all the information you just shared.
Thank you. Listen, I can speak for myself. I'm sure I could speak for Ruthie here too. We love to talk about this kind of stuff, right? This is our jam. So if you have burning questions, friends, and you want to reach out and you want to talk more about it, email us, make an appointment, come visit. And if you can't meet with us and you want to meet with another counselor, please do so. Don't wait. It's never too early to start that conversation.
All right. So could you guys, kind of give any final thoughts before we sign off?
Thank you. Thank you for having us. This was very exciting.
I know. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. I implore all of my fellow students and fellow alumni to take advantage of this information. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Until next time, we're out.
You've been listening to a special episode of This Must Be Heard, brought to you by the New Media Lab and the Office of Athletics and Campus Engagement. Today's producers were Tashea White and Dr. Dana Marie Gallagher from the DCCC Communication Department. Tashea also hosted our episode. Our guests were Ryan Jaffe and Ruth Morganto. Raven Amaro prepared our title cards for this episode. Lushonda Stevens and Kara Oakes are our co-executive producers. Victoria Colbreth and Samuel Larson designed our cover art. Indigo Fraser composed our theme music, and I am Raymond Porras, your announcer and editor for this episode. Special thanks to the Director of Athletics and Campus Engagement, Allison Gleason, and our faculty advisor, Professor Maria Boyd. If you have an interest in participating in the New Media Lab, contact the Office of Athletics and Campus Engagement or reach out to us on Instagram at DCCC_New Media Lab. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you for listening.